Chapter 4, The Dark Stigma. Oh boy. So, they mentioned stigma in the second game. Joshua had a stigma that was given to him by Weissman. But apparently you could just manifest your own stigma or something. I don't know. Something crazy. Alright, who are we getting? I think I'll let me guess first. Alrighty, let's go with Zin. We don't have very many people left. Let's go with Zin and Olivier. That looks like... Oh, let's go me. Zin, Prince Oliver. Now this is a surprise. Don't think this is a dream, at least. Indeed, it is not. I would be overjoyed to share a sweet date with Shara in my dreams. One with a fine drinking companion. Not so much. Yeah, this is real, alright. Still, doesn't Shara count as a drinking companion too? In a way. It's fine to be drunk with the joy of her company, but it is very much the opposite to be drunk with alcohol involved. That's one of the most important lessons I learned during my stay in Liberl. Truer words have never been spoken. But alright, enough playing around. You guys mind filling us in on what kind of situation we've got ourselves into? We shall make with the embraces and tearful greetings afterwards. Honestly, you two really are something special. You'd think you'd be a little shaken finding yourselves in somewhere as unnatural as this out of nowhere. Come on, you're talking about Olivier here. This guy could be in a dark room and he'll find it romantic somehow. This is quite the pickle. I appreciate that it might be may be hard to believe, but this is the situation we find ourselves in at this present time. If we're to try and find a way out, we'll need you to accept that. Oh, Mueller, my sweet rose-kissed muse, ever pure and free of thorns, you misunderstand me. I have long accepted our current predicament as reality. Then why do you look so deep in thought? Need you even ask? Perhaps my life's toughest decision lies ahead of me. Before me I find Joshua, Princess Claudia, Tita, and Josette. Then there's Julia, and even a new face, Reese. Just whom shall I gather into my arms like a warm blanket and exchange sweet nothings in celebration first? Only you. Joshua, you were pulling my leg when you said this guy was an Erebonian prince, right? Hard as it is to believe, he is. Putting my deeply earnest dilemma aside for the time being, it sounds as though you've been making some headway in unraveling the mysteries behind this place. Naturally, I would be more than honored to help with that. But first, you've got a few questions you need to ask, right? I know I sure do. I should have known you would be thinking along the same lines. You're exactly right. Fine by me. What do you want to ask? Do you think you've figured something out? That's what I want to find out. First, I want to ask about that ghost you've encountered in here. Ask away. If I remembered correctly, the first time you met her was on the balcony in Gransel Castle, yes? Indeed it was. She gave us the key that allowed us to eventually find and rescue you. That was the first time she appeared to us as a ghost, but I don't believe it was the first time she directly communicated with you, was it, Father? I don't think so, anyway. When Reese and I first arrived here, we heard a strange voice talking to us. We didn't have a clue who it belonged to at the time, but I think that was probably her too, as do I. So at first, she existed here only as a voice, but she's gradually started showing up with a body too. Can you call a ghost a body? I know that's a weird way to put it, but if it's true, it backs up what that man in black said last time we saw him. Yeah, he said the Lord of Phantasma had stolen most of her power, right? He kept referring to her as the Hermit and Master of the Hollow Garden too. I don't know about kept referring to. He stated those things once each. Plus the inscription on the monument behind us has the Hermit's Garden written on it. I think all of us here can connect the dots just fine. Agreed. It's reasonable to conclude that this very garden is connected to her in some way. That's true. Makes sense to me. It also explains why this place is kinda comfy compared to the other weird, fiend-infested places in Phantasma. Feels like we're getting closer to the truth with every new revelation. By the sounds of it, she's been in Phantasma for a while now, possibly since the beginning. But then she had her power stolen by the Lord of Phantasma and ended up without a body. Since then, she's been trying to help us to the best of her abilities and guide us forward. If we assume all of that to be true, maybe the monuments scattered throughout here are connected to her somehow too. They seem to exist for the same purpose, guiding us forward. I think there's one more thing in our possession that's connected to her as well. That cube, Kevin. You think so? Unfortunately, your guess is as good as mine on exactly what that cube is. That being said, I think the odds of it being connected to her somehow are as high as everything else on the list so far. Well, what do you think? Honestly, I'm impressed. You've done a remarkable job of making sense of the situation when you've only just arrived. Still, if we assume all that to be true, then there's something else we should be doing as we keep moving forward. Helping to restore her power, I assume. That way, we should be able to ask her what else she knows about the land we're in. Got it in one. I get this impression that if we don't, we won't stand a chance against those two. We'll find ourselves up against a wall at some point. You may well be right. While leaving her aside for the time being, I do have one final thing I'd like to ask. What else is there to cover? It concerns that Lord of Phantasma you kept mentioning, actually. To put simply, you wouldn't happen to have any ideas as to who they are, would you, Kevin? Why me? Well, from my perspective, they're awfully fixated on you. They seem to know about Reese's deceased sister as well. Then there's the fact they're even able to summon devils from the church's text. Oh, it could be his teacher too, who I have dubbed Ein. It all seems to be pointing to you two, and you in particular. I can see why you'd ask, I guess. Unfortunately for you, though, I got nothing. If anything, I'd say they seem to be an enemy of the Gralsritter as a whole, rather than just... I suppose that's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if an organization like that had more than their fair share of enemies. No offense, of course. I have plenty of enemies myself. Try not to sound like it's something worth boasting about. Anyway, if we've connected some dots, we'll have to save the mystery behind who our enemies are for another day. Maybe we can get more information out of them the next time we see them, but until then, we don't have enough to work with. Right, next time one of them shows up, we'll have to see what we can force out of them. So about that warp thing, so that about wrap things up for now. If so, we should probably get ready to head out again. We're on plane number 4, and if the previous planes are anything to go by, it's going to be tough. Kevin? What's up? Did you have something else you wanted to add? No, it's just that I'm not feeling very well, so I'm going to sit the next plane out. Why? You're actually, you know, like, I actually like you on the team. I'm sorry for the trouble, everyone, but please look out for him on my behalf. He shouldn't cause you too much trouble, but as I'm sure you know, he can be a little careless at times. Reese? Wait a sec. Are you not going to go after her? Sorry, I'll be back in a minute. About that warp thing. Reese, wait a sec. What's with you all of a sudden? Well, I know. Are you feeling left out because I'm the only one you know here and everyone something something? Sorry, Reese, probably wasn't fun to have to sit. Oh, all right, fine. If you're not going to let me read this, then I'm just going to chill. My goodness. When are you going to stop acting? Huh? It's true that I felt a little left out for a while. You've clearly gone through so much together, and it's made you that much more fond of each other in the days since. Yeah, we had some amazing times. Hard to come out the other end of stuff we did without growing closer through it all. Watching you all, how could I not have felt lonely? How could I not have felt jealous? You've been avoiding me for the past 5 years, Kevin. The thought that you'd grown close to so many others while going out of your way to keep me out of arm's reach did make me sad. You know, I didn't mean it like that, Reese. But at the same time, I was still happy you did. I knew how badly what happened to Rufina had hurt you, how you were still blaming yourself for it. I knew how you were driving yourself into a corner over it, and how you were taking on nothing but dirty jobs as if you were trying to punish yourself. I couldn't confirm it for myself for sure, but I just knew the rumors that you were desperate to burn yourself out through them were true. So that's the reason. That's why, as lonely as I felt when you were off making new friends without me, I was really, really happy more than anything. Reese, you do know that, except it turns out you haven't made any new friends at all. You're pulling the exact same thing you pulled with me on them. Every single one at arm's length. They can't get close to you. You won't get close to them. On the surface, you're a cheerful person having fun with everyone, but on the inside, you're as cold as can be. All you're doing is manipulating your own emotions so people think you're someone you're not. After watching you ever since we were reunited, that's become plain as day to me. Man, I'm happy you're worried about me, but you've totally got the wrong idea with this one. Sorry, I'm good at a lot of things, but pretending to be someone I'm not isn't one of them. When I'm happy, you'll know about it, and when I'm mad, well, I think you know I'm not so good at hiding that either. I'm the same transparent guy I always was. Well, I didn't say you weren't easy to read, for me at least. After all, I know how genuinely shaken you were by the Lord of Phantasma's message. Their words, and the words of that Schwarzritter, always come across as cryptic, but not to you. Deep down, you know what they're talking about. You just constantly keep it from the rest of us and try to keep us in the dark. No, maybe you've even managed to pull the wool over your own eyes, too. Come on now, you can't seriously. Devour the new offering presented to you, and display your seal once more. You know exactly what that means, don't you? Go on. You know what? Maybe you should sit things out for a bit. You're clearly really tired. What? I get that you're angry, or you're as angry as you are upset with me, but I think it's starting to make you jump to some really out there conclusions. And being tired out's only going to make it worse. Can't you see how negative your line of thinking is? You can't seriously believe all this is actually true. I'm not saying I don't deserve all the anger. I totally do. I genuinely was busy, but at the time, I wasn't sure how to face you if we did end up meeting either. Still, we're going to be working together from now on, so enough. Huh? Don't slap him. Boom. Everything you're saying is just meaningless. Maybe the others don't realize that, but how dare you think I, of all people, would fall for it? I realize I'm turning my back on my duties as a squire by doing this, but I can't bear to be near you any longer. I can't stand to see the Kevin I thought I knew so empty. So... You just walked off a cliff. Kevin? Having some lady troubles? Joshua knows about the lady troubles. Hey, I'm sorry you had to see that. Don't worry about it. I want to know something, Joshua. You've looked into me a fair bit since I first stepped into the scene, right? I have. I know that you're called the Heretic Hunter. I know that you're one of the 12 dominions that lead the Gralsritter. And I know you undertake the execution of sinners the Church deems the most unforgivable almost single-handedly. I figured you know your stuff. Wouldn't want any guys whose backgrounds you hadn't thoroughly vetted being close to your girlfriend for long, huh? I can't deny it. Still, the only people you harm are those sinners, never anyone else. So I decided that, for the time being, at least, you weren't a threat to her or anyone else. I see. Weissman was your work too, wasn't it? Sure was. My job was to get rid of him. That's it. Everything I did with you guys leading up to that point was to get myself into position to get it done without him catching on. That includes helping all of you out, naturally. Yeah, I know. You must have been aware of the possibility that Estelle would be taken aboard the Glorious too. You thought allowing it to happen would help you in the long run, so you kept quiet about it. Wow. Now that one I'm surprised you pieced together. But yep, you're absolutely right. I figured there was a chance she might get abducted, but I did exactly nothing to stop it. All I cared about was finding out what Weissman and you were up to, and where you were, for that matter. Couldn't use better bait for that than her. I thought so. And yet all of that doesn't change how I'm more grateful than words can express. Why is that? Because if you hadn't helped me back then, I would still be Weissman's puppet. I would have broken with my own hands what I value most in the world, in the whole world. That's a debt I'll never be able to fully repay. Oh, sweet Adios, now you're just being cute. I know you're smart enough to realize that's not all why I threw you a bone, right? I just wanted him off his guard enough to create an opening I needed. Helping you was the perfect way to do that. That was all there was to it. And again, that doesn't change how grateful I am to you. Knowing why you did what you did doesn't erase the gratitude I feel, not in the slightest. It really is just as well you ended up quitting Ouroboros. You'd suck to high heaven if you were an enforcer now. Honestly, you're totally right. If Reese is sitting on the sidelines for now, let me help you in her place. I might not be as capable of helping you as she is, but I should be able to back you up. You don't need to feel indebted to me, you know. Well, I'll take what I can get. No doubt you're worried sick about Estelle, too. So there's your gold star reason for helping out besides me. So thanks. I'm glad you got my back. Right back at you. Alright, so you're forcing your way. I was gonna do some interesting things that I guess I won't be able to do. I was thinking about bringing Josette, actually, to spice things up. But I guess I won't be doing that. Let me see. So, by losing Reese, I lose out on mostly just an interrupt.
Understood.
Oh, okay. There's not going to be any more talkie-talkie. Alrighty, let's see. Should I take stuff off of her? I don't know. Who has you have it? Okay, so Mueller. Got a shield there. Detection is pretty blah. We'll give you information instead. Alright, and then Olivier. Alright, you don't got anything I need to take off. You have move 3. We will give that to Ida. We will give you move 2. Okay, so Joshua. How do we want to do that? Yeah, I don't have any quotes. I never say anything funny, so, you know, no reason to have any of that. Who has stuff that they shouldn't have? There we go. Action 3 on Mueller. Alright, Tita. You've got it. You've got action 1. You have action 2. We'll give you action 3. I don't know if I want to keep mind on him. Also, he doesn't have hit. Give you hit. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's save. I guess this party will be okay. I guess. You know what I could really use, though? I need some more fire. Ones. Let's consult this over here. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. Estelle. Sherazard. Those are still the only characters I can think of from the first 2 games right now. Charizard. Oh, I wonder if I could put Reese in the port slot. I cannot. Life is hard. So, Olivier is ATS and Arts Defense. That's actually pretty nice. And Zin, recover 4% HP. Alright, we're gonna keep with Mueller. Okay, and then there's something else that I wanted to do right here. Ah, this. Forte, La Forte. That's what I'm trying to... Well, actually, I don't need La Forte. What am I doing? I have a Home Chick Slice. What I want is Clock Up EX. Wow. Genesic barrier? Never seen that before. Zodiac. Interesting. Silent Cross and Peeds Arts and Crafts. Saint. Okay, so I need 9 of those. Joshua, you are at 9. Oh, you have it. Alright. Well, we're good to go. But since this is happening, somebody has an EP cut. We're gonna give you the new and improved EP cut. Alright, save again. Let's move on with our lives. And here's the entrance to the next plane. I doubt the pattern will change up now, so yeah. We won't know what kind of place we don't know what kind of place that's going to be. We won't know what kind of place that's going to be until we step inside, though. Reading is hard. What kind of scary fiends will be there? We'll have to be sure we're ready before moving on. Entrance exam results. And for 33 of those years, I hated that darn place. He snapped between chewing cuts of lamb. After swallowing, he added, "Who's going to run it? I sure ain't, and you're no carpenter." Why? A letter to Chloe Rins informing her that she passed the Genus Royal Academy entrance examination. Interesting. Oh, new palette, okay. This reminds me of the training grounds, the Bracer training grounds. Where are we now? Nowhere I've ever been before, judging from where I'm standing. Oh my. Yep, that's exactly where we are. I think the region starts with an L. It's outside of Liberl. Whoa, it's so pretty. Well, this is a lot prettier than the last plane, at least. Oh, we could get Annalace. She could be one. I forgot about her. This must be another real place that's been recreated here in Phantasma, much like the capital was. Most likely, yeah. Just where is it, though? Somewhere in Liberl? I doubt it. It's not familiar to me at all. My guess would be somewhere along the Crone Mountains, but the air suggests otherwise. Oh. What's the Bracer Guild's emblem doing here? Looks like this really isn't a place that exists in Liberl. As far as I'm aware, there aren't any guild facilities like this anywhere in the country. And this is a copy of a place in some other country, then. Would you look at that? The answer was right under our noses the whole time. It was? Yeah, Lelacle. I knew it started with an L. This is Lelacle Training Center. I know that name. Wasn't it the training camp Estelle went to a while back? You know, last year with Annalace. That's the one. It's a guild-owned facility located in Lamon State. Lamon, see? Look at that. Like a boss. I've never been there myself, though. I've only heard about it from Estelle. Still, that leaves us yet another problem to solve. Lamon State is it's a fairly significant distance away from Liberl, after all. Yeah, it is. It's farther away than both Erebony and Calvard. But you know, I may not have a clue how a place in Lamon ended up being created here or why. But if our enemies did it, they must have had a reason for doing so, right? I knew you'd catch on. That sounded like we've got company, guys. Are those rats? Uh-oh. On guard, everyone. Wait, are those rats up there too? I suppose beastmen would be the best term for these things. This is probably what your next destination is the Path of Beasts was referring to. Another mystery solved. Watch out. There's a lot of them, and this could get ugly. Oh, they're werewolves and were-rats. Alright, Tita. Show them what you can do. Porta God. I was about to say goodbye. Let's go ahead and treat this a little seriously. Okay. I'll take that. Probably wasn't the smartest choice. Seeing that I had Tita coming up next, but whatever.
For the sake of my master!
Fleeing to fight another day, huh? They're smart little devils. Devils do seem a lot more intelligent than your average monster. Enough to make me wonder whether these are another kind of impossible fiend like the rest. I'm with you. I can't pretend to be an expert on the monsters of LeMan, but I'm pretty sure they're not this smart. This plane isn't going to let up anytime soon, huh? Here she comes. You have done well to come this far. On this plane, there are 3 ordeals to overcome. If you overcome them all, the next path will open. Take this, because it's dangerous to go alone. Map of Lilakle. So we're basically going to have to do the Bracer challenge again? Be forewarned. The Lord of Phantasma's goal is your... Well, she sure didn't stick around long. She's probably got a little power, or she's probably got so little power left now. It's difficult for her to show herself to us. So it seems. It must be a frustrating thing for her to deal with. Still, she left us with a useful gift. Yeah. Haven't opened the map of Lilakle. And it's the same map. Okay. Looks like the lodge in the top right is where we are now. And there's this Ballstar Channel place to the left of it. Maybe that's the ordeal she mentioned, or one of them at least. She mentioned there being 3 of them, but there's only one place that could fit that description marked on the map. I wonder where the other 2 could be. From what I can see, these 2 roads lead to them. The ones that seem to just stop all of a sudden. But this place most likely has its own rules we need to follow. If we followed those roads now, there's a big chance we'd find nothing at the end of them. Unfortunately, or unfortunately, well, those are the cards we've been dealt. Let's just try heading over to Ballstar Channel and see what comes of it. Yeah, treasure chest. Yup. Be a good time to save. And mark.